Hello, everybody. Welcome to this second session for today for the Career Fair 2024. And just congratulations to everybody who has made it this far. My name is Kinley Brandy. I'm from Cameroon and I'm the moderator for this second session. Now, I want to give a major shout out to Hawa. Her presentation was just top notch. Thank you for giving us the skills we need to perfectly transition to a tech career. That's if we want to. And also a shout out to Nelly. That was a wonderful moderation there. Thank you. Now, please do not leave. Stay connected. We're going to be bringing on KIKE. She's also a Nigerian. She's a wonderful woman. She has impacted her community so much. She is the founder and CEO of BYP, and she is also a member of Forbes 30 under 30. So you know what we mean. We mean business here. We're bringing together the young ladies who are bent on sharing their knowledge and also impacting and developing their communities. Now, Kike is going to be presenting to us on the topic how to position rightly to access international jobs, international opportunities, international fellowships, and whatever you want. Now, we wish to access these things, but there are times we do not know what route to follow, what path to take, how to do this or how to do that. And gladly we have Kike in the building. Now we're just going to take Kike's bio while she prepares to come up on stage. Thank you, everyone.
Agoro is the founder and CEO of BYP Network, a multi-million pounds company advancing the careers of Black professionals globally. She holds a BSc in Economics from the University of Nottingham, is a University of Florida MSc Management Scholar, and an ex-Great Britain javelin thrower. Kike is the Vice Chair of the London Chamber of Commerce, Black Business Association, on the board of Getting on Board's charity, and an alumni of the World Economic Forum Global Shapers. At age 30, Kike has received over 100 awards in sports, academics, and business. Breaking Glass Ceilings is one of the few Black female founders to raise over $1 million. Motivated to change the Black narrative, she founded BYP Network to address workplace diversity and lack of opportunities with over 150,000 members and 1,600 corporate clients. Kike is a Forbes 30 under 30, Maserati Top 100 Most Innovative Founder, and a Computer Weekly UK Top 10 Women in Technology.
Thank you very much for that awesome bio. Now you know who we have on board with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, can you just jam your hands for Kike as we welcome Kike on board? It's such an honor to have such a personality with us today, and she's going to be pouring knowledge and knowledge. Please send some flames for Kike. Kike is here. You're welcome, Kike.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. That was a great bio. So I'll skip that part in my presentation.
Okay.
But I'm ready. I'm
Okay.
ready. You guys are.
Okay. Yes, we are.
All right, awesome. Well, hi everyone. I'm really excited to be here today. I hope you guys learn from my presentation, and I'm able to touch on the things that you're hoping for. I know at the moment, in terms of the job market, people are trying to japa, as they say in Nigeria. But I won't talk about the route a lot of people are taking, which is kind of care jobs in the UK. I'm more talking about like the professional kind of skilled jobs. So if you have any questions, please do wait to the end, as I know we'll be doing some questions and answers. But yeah, my presentation is just on how to position for international jobs the right way. So I know it was rightly, but I put the right way. So let's see. Like I said, I don't need to do my bio because they did such a fantastic job in terms of kind of breaking down my background. I guess I can highlight a bit about my passion for global opportunities. And it really just is about breaking down those barriers for Black professionals. And it just stemmed from my own background. I grew up in the UK, first generation immigrant. My mum and dad was from Nigeria and then moved to the UK when they had me. In the UK specifically in other, not just the UK, a lot of global places where we are the diaspora, it's hard to get the top opportunities, and it's hard to see others that look like you in spaces in the Western world, because it's not Nigeria, it's not Africa. You just don't see that many people that look like you, especially in top jobs. And I'm talking like professional jobs, banking, finance, tech. So that's kind of where BYP stemmed from. It was that realization that, hold on, we're here, in this world, we're not getting the opportunities that we deserve. Even statistically, in terms of like university, we're not getting into the top universities per se, or graduating with good grades. And the statistics were very much negative in terms of the Black community. And I'm sure you guys do hear about it. So what's frustrating for us as a global Black community, African diaspora community, is that it's tough pretty much everywhere, right? It's tough in Africa, it's tough in the Western world. And I know it's easy to look over here and think, oh, it's easy for you to say, which I do understand. But again, just in terms of disparities, there's a lot of disparities that happen over here too. But it's not just about Western jobs as well. It's about African jobs as well, how we connect to the African diaspora. My company, BYP Network, who obviously they mentioned a bit about, we're all about empowering Black professionals globally. And so we do have a chapter in Nairobi and Lagos as well. And I believe we'll be opening different chapters around the world and around Africa. And the whole point is just to get you guys connected with one another. If you guys can meet one another, you can share ideas, you can share opportunities, you can know that you're not alone in this journey. Where as adults, when you cross over and you become an adult, you realize that life gets real. And so that's what BYP is about. It's about bringing people together so that they can learn, they can upskill, they can learn from people that have gone before them as well. That's a big part of it. That kind of mentorship and sponsorship is super important. And so that's what BYP Network is about. You saw some of the videos. So yes, we do a lot of networking. That's through our events and conferences. We do over 70 events a year. So that's online, across different chapters. That's our conferences. We did 3 conferences this year, one in New York, Chicago, and we have one next month in the UK, and it's hybrid. So you can actually register for that conference and join in online. So yeah, for us, BYP Network is about changing the Black narrative, but to change the Black narrative, that takes a whole global effort, because I always say if it's not right in Africa, if people aren't happy in Africa, if the youth aren't getting jobs, if they're not feeling engaged, and there's disparities there, it continues everywhere in the diaspora. We are as affected. We are all Black. We are all African. So it has the same impact. So it is important that we just empower each other. We at BYP Network, we actually hire people from around the world, including Nigeria as well. And there are a lot of companies that do that. And I'll talk a bit about just ways that you can obviously get jobs globally. I guess success for us as a company is our members having an enhanced network. They can say through BYP Network, I met a mentor that changed my life. I got a job that I wouldn't have had. I met a friend who has guided me along my career path. So it's that kind of enhanced network that empowers you to be the best version of yourself. That's the whole point of BYP Network. So it's worth us kind of looking at the current global market. And I guess let's look at post-pandemic. During the actual pandemic, there was a lot of tech jobs, a lot of companies hiring around the world, a lot of investments in startup companies as well. I know over here we heard of Andela, Flutterwave, a lot of companies doing well on the continent. Then we went through kind of a shift where they had been letting people go, and I'm talking about global companies. That's seeped into this year, but there has been a bit of a turnaround. And initially with the pandemic, everything was remote, complete remote work. But now companies are kind of going for the hybrid approach. They're looking for a minimum of 3 days in the office. But there are still remote jobs. And obviously for you guys, one of the things we will talk about is getting remote jobs so that you can be wherever you are situated, but still work international jobs. But there is still an increased demand for tech savvy professionals. Ultimately, you still have to kind of have those skills. So it's great how just gave that presentation, because hopefully if you listen to that, that will help you understand kind of the importance of having that kind of tech background and tech skills. And there's so many ways to upskill regardless of the industry that you're in. And there is a huge demand for that, especially AI now. There's a huge demand for people who have AI skills. And it's not that hard to get AI skills. There's so many courses online that we can kind of talk a bit more about as well. And that whole digital shift. In general, the high demand industries are technology, healthcare, finance. They're very much leading the sector for global talent. But like I said, AI, cybersecurity, data analytics, they are opening up new opportunities. Again, I know not everyone is tech, not everyone is, healthcare and AI. These are just the areas that are leading. There are, of course, other opportunities and other ways. But I guess it's about if you want to position yourself for the future. They've already said that AI is set to take like 50% of jobs in the next 6 years. And when they say take jobs, they just mean the current jobs. If you upskill, you can still find a job. There's still going to be large demand for people, but in different skills. So the number one thing I can say is really about that upskilling to get those global jobs. India has done it so well. I mean, most companies have Indian talent based in India. They've done it so well. And we know the government has invested, they have had unicorn companies as well. And so we know that's a big part of it. And I know that's not the case for every country, which is frustrating. So those of you that are on this, well done, because you're already taking that first step to, advancing your career and understanding what you can do to get the job that you want or to get the kind of income that you want. So I guess for African professionals, we are being recognized for our talents. It is increasingly growing. There is that kind of demand of just talent generally globally. So there is a big position for African youth, for African professionals, knowing that Africa is just full of so many young people. And obviously there is a struggle of getting jobs on the continent. There is this huge opportunity. And I think looking at the Indian playbook can really, really help because, as I said, they've done it fantastically well. And again, obviously with remote work, it reduces the geographical barriers, which allows you guys to work in international companies from your home, which is still fantastic. So again, I guess it's just looking at that current market, always looking about future trends and staying ahead of the curve. You have to always keep upskilling. You can never just think that you've done it for, you did one course, it's done. You're always learning, you're always upskilling, and you're always positioning yourself for the jobs of the future. So I want to first kind of define the fact that there are different types of international jobs. There are, as I mentioned, obviously there's remote jobs. And again, depending on where you are, the time zone can be very favorable. I know, for example, Nigeria is pretty much the same time zone as the UK, and so many other places too. So I know that is very favorable. So remote jobs it offers you that flexibility. You can access global companies, and examples are like digital marketing, customer service as well, and project management jobs. So again, it doesn't have to be a tech role. It can be a customer service role. A lot of I know the Philippines are doing very well with the whole virtual assistants. That's been doing very well. Something that companies need a lot is salespeople. So like SDR, they call it, sales development representatives. And those are just individuals that help them get sales leads, right? And they're super important for the company to help the company grow. So what I'm saying is that, yeah, you might not feel like you're tech savvy and you want to do an AI course or you want to learn how to be a developer, but there are other routes of getting a remote job that's international. And it's worth just exploring all those options. And maybe if you're currently still a student, definitely customer service, roles that you can do alongside your course can be really, really handy. The next kind of, job type is freelance jobs. So these are jobs where there's platforms like Upwork, Fiverr, Freelancer. These are really amazing platforms where you can just get started pretty much today. You go on there, you can browse, you can decide what you think, what skills you have that you can market to other people. We've used people for digital marketing, for, again, lead generation, graphics. There's so many options on Fiverr in terms of what people could be looking for. And no matter how unique it is, you don't know, you could be somebody that they're looking for. And again, I'll break this down a bit more. I just want to kind of give a bit more of a definition of the different types of international jobs. And then, of course, there are jobs requiring visas. So those are jobs that will actually bring you into the country. And this is where a company actually sponsors your visa to bring you abroad. That's very common in tech right now in the UK. Healthcare obviously has been a big one, as I mentioned. Carers, there's been a lot of carers coming into the UK. And engineering roles as well, like very niche roles. If they're looking for very skilled workers. Like if you're very skilled as well, other than the healthcare area, they will bring you in because the talent, in terms of the skill talent in the UK, isn't enough. So that can be your advantage. I mean, I've worked with people who have come with it's called a talent visa, international talent visa, and they literally have been said that this person is talented, they should come to the country. So there are different visas, and again, we'll break that down a bit more. We'll start off with kind of talking about the remote job options and kind of how to get one. So as I mentioned, there's so many websites, right? And it's worth looking at websites that are focused on remote jobs. And the reason why is that, like I said earlier, a lot of companies now is more about hybrid. Some companies are 5 days in the office now. They're really trying to take back that control after all the time of COVID and people working from home. They just feel like people are not as productive, and you can't really get those water cooler moments where you strike up an idea, whilst getting water. So they're really kind of peeling that back. But there are websites which is all about remote jobs, like jobs that are remote, that you can look at, and it's worth looking at that. And you can pitch yourself. You can apply for the job. You can pitch yourself as to why you're the right candidate. They don't have to. There are platforms like Deal, which allows them to kind of hire you internationally and be kind of set up in the right jurisdiction. But then again, it could be just like Upwork and Fiverr, where they can hire you, but it's a freelance contract still. So it's not too much headache for them. And actually, if you position that, that's more desirable for them. And that's something you should think about when you're looking at these kind of remote jobs online. So definitely check out those websites. Key skills and certifications. So obviously I mentioned earlier about the fact that a lot of in-demand skills are like digital marketing, software development, data analysis, and project management. So the ways to kind of get those skills is through certifications. So there's certifications on Coursera, Udemy, and obviously LinkedIn Learning. I think in terms of pricing, I think Udemy has a lot of free options from my memory. And then LinkedIn Learning might be the next best price. Coursera then I think is I mean, it is quite, I think it's personally a bit expensive, but I guess it's worth it. And if you're going to get a great job, so I get it's worth it, right? You're investing in your future. So it's worth looking at those platforms. And just in general, I know Google offer loads of digital courses for free. So you could just look for free courses. Also on YouTube, there's so many people that teach things on YouTube. But the point is, if you're trying to upskill, then you need to get those certifications and you need to actually do the training, because you might get hired with your CV, but you won't stay long if they realize that you don't have the talent that you said that you have, right? You get found out pretty quickly. So it's worth actually investing in those skills and certifications. Then, of course, to try and get a remote job, networking and branding. Build a really strong LinkedIn profile. So we, for example, like I said, we were hiring in Nigeria, and as we were searching, if the LinkedIn wasn't that strong, we didn't go forward, right? Because in our minds that, if you're looking for an international job, a lot of international people in the Western world especially, have very strong LinkedIn profiles. And so we'd expect you to have the same, because that means that you're on job, you understand the game. So if your LinkedIn isn't strong, if it's just like a picture of you, doesn't really say much of your recent experience, doesn't have any comments, you don't even interact on LinkedIn as well, then you get found out pretty quickly, and recruiters would probably miss you, essentially, because of the fact they can see that your LinkedIn isn't very strong. And then again, with that whole networking, just engage with online communities and forums to expand your professional network. Obviously, again, BYP Network, like I said, we have chapters in like Nairobi and in Lagos. So you can kind of keep informed, sign up to our newsletter, join our platform, Javelin, and also attend our events. We have so many online events. So that as well is a great way to network and stay engaged. One of the people we hired in BYP Network, it was just because they were engaged with us and they really stood out. And then from there, we realized their skills and the assets that they bring. So you just never know, right? It's worth just networking, just being around, letting people realize what you can offer, And sometimes it's not just who you know, but it's who knows you. So
Yeah.
someone, an opportunity might come up and they can recommend you because they know of you, because you've built that strong brand. But again, the brand isn't just fluff. It's based on, you know, the fact that you are actually talented and you can provide what you say you offer. Um, and then, yeah, so that was a bit about remote jobs, freelance jobs. So again, like I mentioned, those platforms, Upwork, Fiverr, Freelancer, they're all a bit different in a way. Upwork offers projects in like writing, design, programming, whereas Fiverr allows you kind of to start small gigs and scale from there on larger projects. So literally any gig, Fiverr just allows anything whatsoever, and people can just pay you like literally a Fiverr for you to do a social media post for them. It's really that specific and that simple, and you can really build up a client base quite quickly. And I think what's great about these platforms is that actually they tend to turn into long-term partnerships or long-term hires. Again, even we have hired people from Fiverr who've been with us for like 6 years, because they did such a great job on the projects that we gave them, that we were able to continue working with them for our need. And a lot of people who use these platforms, it's not really a one-time thing. They do tend to need it ongoing. So if you make a good impression, then it can continue, and you can continue, working with clients. And I know people making so much money on Fiverr because they have like 100 clients. They have so many clients because they have such a strong reputation, and it's all about 5 stars on Fiverr. You want to maintain 5 stars. If it even dips to like, I think anything under 4.7, it's hard to get someone to kind of transact with you. So again, it's about that credibility. And so just as well as that is that building of a strong portfolio, right? So when you do something for someone, make sure it's on your page, make sure you're getting them to rate you, make sure you're getting them to write a testimonial as well, leave reviews. Every single job matters, and how you treat them matters, because if you have a bad job, they're going to leave a bad review straight away without you asking. If you do a good job, you have to ask them to leave a review. That's just the way the world works. So make sure that you really do a good job for them. And then when it comes to pricing strategies on these platforms, first you just look around, you look at others in your kind of niche, what they're charging, what they're offering, how many kind of reviews they have, ratings they have. And because you're new, obviously you would have to charge less than that, because you need to build up your client base. But then as soon as you kind of build that up, build out your credibility, you can start charging higher prices and changing your package. And then I said, like I say, it's always about, if you just, some people just find that one client, and honestly, your life is made, right? So you don't dismiss anyone that reaches out. You get back to them in a timely fashion. So advice I'd give for anyone listening now, just check out Fiverr, Upwork, Freelancer, see if there's anything you think you can add. You might be great at social media. A lot of people are looking for people who are good at TikTok. So that could be something. So you'll be really surprised what skill sets you have that can be valuable to somebody else. And again, so that's what I mean by the client management. Like really, really, really be good with your clients, because again, the one client can make a huge difference.
Yes.
And then jobs that sponsor. I know a lot of you, this is the one you're wanting to learn more about.
We want to jump.
I can tell you now that because obviously we work with a lot of clients, so I don't know how many of you have checked out our website or our profile, even our careers festival. We have a lot of high profile clients that work with us, and to get a visa sponsorship is not that easy, I would say. So like even with our clients, we get Nigerians or people across Africa applying for jobs, and like we have to let them know we are not sponsoring visas. I know that one of the routes is coming as a student, and then that could be a potential way of then getting a visa, which still isn't set in stone in terms of getting a proper work visa. But nevertheless, people definitely do come in through visa sponsorship programs. So the UK is UK skilled worker visa, Canada has express entry, and the US has H-1B visa. And these are all popular pathways. I've had a visa to work in America, for example. In fact, I just came back in May. It was with the US State Department for a fellowship. And that was like, seemed incredible to get that visa. So I understand the feeling, because it's rare to kind of have that opportunity. But it is possible. And again, it's all to get visas like that. It's all about skilled, right? Skilled worker. It's all about the skill you can show that you have. You need to take time to deep dive into your skills, like deep dive. What do you bring to the table? Okay, yeah, I worked this job for how long? What do people say about me? What do I know about myself? Again, what's the current trends? What are the jobs people are hiring in that there's a shortage in workers? I know in the UK there was a shortage of lorry drivers, for example. Um,
Yeah.
literally they needed lorry drivers, right? So the thing is looking into doing your own research and then kind of positioning yourself to get these opportunities is what's super important. And I'd say don't take the easy route or what you think is the easy route. A lot of people again are coming through the care route, but it's not easy, right? And what I mean by that is that they're paying people illegally to come, and it is illegal. You shouldn't be paying a penny. It's actually free to come. Other than your like actual visa form to the UK, it doesn't cost £15,000 and silly prices that people are paying. It can actually be free. But even then, there are websites for that too. So if you choose to come down that route, fine. There are websites for that. But it's not an easy job. If you're used to being a skilled worker or someone who's studying mechanical engineering in Nigeria, and then you come and you're a carer, carers, you're literally caring for someone, right? You're cleaning up after them, you're feeding them. Anything that they say to you, you have to just take it on the chin. So I'm just letting you know that I know that a lot of people post stuff online, japa, 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 and showing that they live in the high life. It's not true. And the UK is very expensive. So the money you think you're making is going to your rent, is going to your food, is going to clothes, is going to turning your lights on. Just so it's and then people in your home country are asking you to send money. So I just want to position that to you to let you understand that I know that is a route people are taking, but there are other routes. There are other ways to be making good money in Africa. And I do believe it's yes, there's this visa sponsorship route, yes, to come to the country. But actually, if you're making good money where you are, like above average, top 5%, 10%, because you're being paid, international rates or whatever that looks like, that's also a good life. Because here in the West or whatever, it may not be. But again, I'm not to discourage anyone because you can say easy for you to say over there in the UK. So you could just take that as you will. So, like I said, the key thing is just to focus on industries with high demand for foreign talent. So, this is tech and healthcare. So, do your research. Where's the demand? What are they saying the jobs of the future? Everything is AI. Literally, if you go online and look for AI courses, AI skills, and you make yourself an expert in AI, there's not too many experts in AI. I think even if a million people are experts in AI, it's not enough people. So, take your time. And it's kind of like when everyone was doing software development, right? Remember, there was a huge rush, everyone learning to code. And they even now they still need software developers, right? So that's another way of looking at the AI skill set. They're going to need this. This is the future. So be part of the future. So companies like Google, Microsoft, I know they're top companies, but they're looking for international talent and they sponsor. Those are companies that sponsor talent. So again, the same theme, talent, be talent. Position yourself as talent. Again, also startups like emerging industries like fintech and biotech, they're also increasingly getting sponsorship. But like I said, some of this is niche, so they're really looking for kind of the niche skills. And the best way to position yourself with these things is, tailor your CV, like I said, your LinkedIn profile, highlight the skills in demand. So if you're realizing they're saying, AI talent, Python, whatever these words are, right? You can put that in your LinkedIn profile and CV, so your profiles come up when recruiters are looking. And like I said, they are looking in Africa, so you never know. And then if you're also in the kind of groups that matter, international groups, you'll also be discovered. The application processes can be quite long. So you need to really prepare for a multi-step process that includes several interviews, skills tests, and visa paperwork. Sorry, can someone mute? Kinley, mute. Thank you.
I can get you. Yeah.
Sorry, I hope people can still hear me. So,
Yeah, I can get you.
So the application process can be quite long. So just prepare for that. And one of the things they're definitely looking at is your ability to communicate, right? So knowing that you're based in Africa, they want to know that you can understand them well, you can communicate, and you'll be surprised, right? You might think you can, but even me, I might be talking too fast for some of you right now, right? So it's just about showing them that you do understand, and taking them. Sorry, Kinley, can you mute whilst I present?
Yes, please. I can mute. Definitely.
Sorry, guys, I just okay, perfect. Kinley's muted. Um, Great. So yeah, so that's my whole point. So just beware of timelines as well and preparing documentation. But like I said, I know a lot of you want that sponsorship and it can happen. Absolutely. Why not? But just be skilled, go and really, really upskill yourself and have that vision for what you want your future to be. So we're getting closer now. I know I have about 10, 15 minutes until Q&A. So these next bits is more like, okay, fine, you've thought about the kind of roles that you're looking for, but now you need to kind of leverage LinkedIn for international job search. So like I mentioned, optimizing your profile, use a professional photo, a compelling headline, keyword rich summary. It's so important to put like the word global. Weirdly enough, if you put global, sales representative, global talent, like it makes a difference actually in the search. It makes it think, okay, they're global. And if you're putting the word global there, if you're showing that you're international on your profile, you're showing that it's not just African, companies. And even if it is, you worked with international teams. So you need to make sure your profile says you are a global individual, you are international, you work on an international level, your day to day is international. That will help appeal to global recruiters. Like, I promise you, they will look and think, okay, this person should be able to hit the ground running because this is normal for them. If you haven't had any global experience, which I'm sure some of you, that will be the case, this is your chance to just start doing it. Maybe you can reach out to companies you see, say you'll do it for free, or you'll intern, or you're happy to do some projects, whatever it looks like, but you need to build that international experience, because to get hired for a good company, they want you to already have that kind of appeal and background. You obviously, like I said, need to build an international network. So use platforms again like Javelin, BIP Network, LinkedIn groups, Facebook groups. Join all these groups. Jump on these webinars. Watch these videos. Like, do what you need to do to be in these areas, be in these rooms, be in these environments, so that people know you, you know them, you know what's going on, you know the lingo. You can't kind of just sit in your room as just, by yourself trying to figure it out and not engage with anyone else online, especially. It won't work. So really, really make sure you're building that international network. And then again, like I said, use LinkedIn keywords, use advanced search filters as well to find international job opportunities, set up job alerts, apply for these international roles. And again, when you apply, you can say something like, you're not based in the country, but you're happy to work as a freelancer, because they could consider you, right? If you matched a job, but their job was for London, even if it says in office or hybrid, you never know. So I think shoot your shot. You have to be a bit of a salesperson yourself to get opportunities. And yeah, that just also means engaging with employers. So comment, share, like content, follow people from the companies you're interested in, reach out to them and say, hey, I'm thinking of applying for a job at your company, would love to talk to someone. Just be quite personalized with it, personalized with the connections and the recruiters. And you just never know, right? If you're on a recruiter's radar, something could come up, or they might, because they've connected with you, they might even be the ones to kind of advocate for you and say, look, I know we weren't hiring internationally, but I think this candidate could be a really good fit. So again, just really try your luck. And it's not luck, right? It's hard work. You're making sure that you're in those right spaces, but then the luck falls on you after. So you have to just cultivate it, and you'll get your opportunity. So yeah, just make sure that your LinkedIn profile is what it needs to be. Here, this is just a quick one on your resume/CV, it's called in the UK. I just have a bit of an example on the right that you can kind of look at. But what's good about that example, it just says all that it needs to say. It really does show kind of your education, your skills, your work experience. And if you look at work experience, they break it down even more. And what did they do? What did they achieve? What are the percents? What are the numbers? These are the things people want to see. I increased sales revenue by 50%. I beat my target by £2 million. Like whatever these wordings need to be, you need to show them who you are and demonstrate the fact that you will be, an A player on the team, and your CV does that. So even though they'll look at your LinkedIn, they'll then ask for your CV. So they'll ask you to send that to them. So it needs to be tailored right. No spelling mistakes. Again, put global, put international. Make sure it really does sing to them as you're the right choice. Make sure again, about the cultural expectations. So you're making sure your CV matches up to, if it's American type of CV. It's the UK type of CV, wherever you're looking at. And then, so like I said, make sure there's a professional summary, work experience, quantifiable results, any international experience, cross-cultural competence. Just really throw it in there, make it loud so that they understand that you're the right person there. Yes, I'm in Africa or wherever I am, but please know I am an international person, so that's what you kind of need to scream out at them. And again, each time you're applying for a role, make sure you customize your CV for that specific job. Okay, so that's important too. Don't, every time you apply, if it's a bit different, just customize your CV. If the job description says certain stuff, go back to your CV to add those things into your CV. That's another way. I know it's slower, definitely a slower process, but your chances of success is a lot higher. And a lot of these companies use ATS systems. So that's applicant tracking systems. And a lot of those systems kind of filter people out quickly. So you need to, again, make sure the format is right. You're using the right fonts, clear headings, relevant keywords. And again, you can search all this. And I have a bit later about how you can use AI to also make your job search a lot better. And then again, like I said, I've provided a sample CV, which you guys can see here. And you can just search it as well, like UK CVs or American resumes. And again, the last bit will be a bit about AI. So we're getting towards the end. So let's say you've now done the CV, you've done your LinkedIn, obviously you've looked at remote jobs, freelance jobs, whatever jobs you're looking at. Now you've got your interview. You know how exciting, you're going to have an interview. Well, you obviously want to pass the interview. So, the work is not done with just your CV, etc. You need to now focus on what does passing look like. So again, remember the cultural differences, understand cultural nuances and communication. The UK, we're very sarcastic at times, or we love to talk about the weather. So, obviously don't go overboard, but we always start. I mean, I have so many calls and we always start about the weather, or we start about current affairs, right? So a current affair could be like us saying, oh, how was your weekend? Oh, it was okay. The weather was rubbish. And we're like, oh yeah, it was, right? But did you see the riots? Yeah, that was terrible. That's how we kind of start it most times. So you always have to have that small talk in the beginning, and that's super important. It's part of the interview. It's that cultural fit. Can this person kind of understand us straight away and get our jargon and get us as people? So yeah, being able to do small talk is super important. So I'm sure there's stuff on YouTube on that, so you can kind of look at that. Common interview questions as well. Prepare for questions about your adaptability, your international experience, cross-cultural teamwork. So maybe you're saying that you had to work with people in Singapore, so you worked at 4 a.m. at night because of the times difference, but you loved it. Whatever it is you need to say to kind of highlight that you have worked internationally and you're up for the job. And just practice, using the STAR method. So like situation, task, action, result. What was the situation? Oh, I had a project that was due the next working day. The project involved us finding 10 people that met the skill sets required. Your action was that you now went on LinkedIn, you had to search them, you weeded them out. The result was that you were able to deliver it with 2 hours to spare. That's what they're looking for in interviews, to really break it down and not just kind of rush through it. So yeah, really practice your interview skills as well. So it sounds like there's a lot to do. There obviously is, right? But the result is what you're after, right? If you get that amazing job and you do amazing at your job, then you can have a great job for life, and you can be obviously set very, very well where you are. And again, there's stuff like virtual interview techniques. So just ensuring your background, good lighting. Nobody likes tech issues. It's 2024. Tech issues were so 2020. That was during the pandemic. We all had the excuse, but I think now it's kind of like annoying, really, if your tech isn't working so well, if your internet, because that will straight away make them think, well, you're not going to be able to do the job. So if you're in your interview and your Wi-Fi is messing up, that could stop you from getting the job, because they think that will happen whilst you work with them. And then again, like I said, communicating your value, highlight your unique value proposition, focus on your skills, your experiences, that meet the employer's needs. Employers always want to know that you're a doer, that you'll just get stuff done. They don't have to tell you. You think outside of the box, you're you're solution minded, and you're someone that's reliable and has integrity. These are things employers are looking for. So if that's something you can highlight in your interview skill, that you're the person that will get the job done, and that you're reliable, and that you're excited, and you're passionate about the company, and you understand the importance of your work, those are the kind of things that will really get you through in the interview. And then again, sometimes there's technical and behavioral interviews. So some companies now actually make you do some sort of test. And I know that can be hard. And I know a lot of people, especially the Black community, actually either don't sit the test or like don't pass the test. So it is quite frustrating, those tests, and they do kind of like, they seem to have biases essentially, and which is a shame. But if you come across tests, do them, right? Because at least the more practice you have, the better. And if other interviews also have tests, you'll get more and more confident. And there are ways you can practice these tests as well. Cool, we're nearly done. So this is the last section, and it's kind of just on how you can now use AI to help you with your job search. So everything I said sounds super overwhelming. There's so much to think about. It sounds difficult, but actually you have AI now to help you as your best friend. ChatGPT, there's Gemini now. There's just so many AI online now. I think we're, a year or two deep into AI since it was like launched to the mass market. And what I also read recently is that companies now are expecting everybody to be AI savvy. So even if you're not going to upskill in AI jobs, even if you want to have a job as a virtual assistant, they expect you to have some sort of AI knowledge, because that will make you faster at your job. And that's what they're looking at. They're looking for efficiency. They ask you to do a presentation and it takes you 2 days, when actually it could have taken you 2 hours if you used AI. That's what they're looking at. But I guess the same is with your whole job search now. AI now, you can use it to search for jobs. There's jobs like JobScan for CV optimization. There's interviewing.io, which helps you with your interview practice. Obviously, BYP, our Javelin platform, has AI matching capabilities. So if you upload your CV, we show 5 jobs that match your CV. But again, I know we don't have that many international jobs, so I just want to highlight that. That's why I haven't pushed it all over. But still worth signing up anyways, you never know. And then, you use AI tools to analyze your CV, your LinkedIn profile. So it can really just help you make sure you're the best version of yourself when you're applying for jobs and when you're interviewing as well. And in this day and age, there's really no excuse not to use AI for your job search. So to round it up, with just 1 minute left, so feel very grateful. It's perfect timing. We explored how you can position yourself for international jobs. And these are ways of kind of just the importance of remote work, freelancing, visa-sponsored jobs, how you have to make sure that you've got a great LinkedIn, your CV is great, your interview skills are great, having that mindset, that international mindset, and making sure that you have global and international everywhere, not everywhere, but in good enough spaces for them to understand that you really do have global experience. It's all about who you know, who knows you, to build up that reputation, branding, and your networks, as that can really, really benefit you. And just keep learning and adapting. Like I said, you have to keep upskilling in the job market. Never, ever rest on your laurels. You have to keep on upskilling. It's so important, because you never know when that skill can come in, compared to your colleagues and co-workers. And so, my final thoughts is your career journey is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Don't compare yourself to anybody else, to stay persistent and proactive. You might think, I haven't got a job, it's taking me 2 years, but in that 2 years, you're seriously upskilling. And the job that you land on could be a visa-approved sponsored job to America that pays you a crazy salary. You just never know. Everyone's path is different. but you just have to have that can-do attitude, hard work ethic, and that desire to want to change your life or upskill. So yeah, I'd say just take everything that I've said on board. Really invest into your career. Stay up to date with all things BYP Network by checking our website, our social media, and just joining our platform Javelin, our newsletter. So thank you for listening. So
It was
yes,
really an awesome presentation from your end. I'm sorry I'm having some trouble with my camera,
no,
so you might not see me
no worries, go ahead.
again, but it was really a wonderful presentation. I found myself really like, oh, apparently there are some things I've been doing wrong, and I will have to correct myself from this presentation. Now, everybody, please, can we just have our questions? Now it's time for Q&A. Can you have can we have your questions? Ask as many questions as you can. Now, while they are bringing up their questions, I have some here for you, KK. Now,
Mm-hmm.
my first is, how can I prove my capability to international employers if my experience is solely with local companies?
Yeah, great question. So that boils down to kind of what I mentioned with the freelance platforms. So, like, going on Upwork and on Fiverr. So, if you go on those platforms, you will work with international people because it's global and projects come from anywhere and anyone. And so, that can be your way of working with international clients and international people. Like I said, joining the relevant groups on LinkedIn, reaching out where you need to so that you can now start. The point is, if you've done a project for a USA based startup company, you can put that on your LinkedIn, you can put that on your CV and say, I did XYZ for a US based company. And maybe to stand out on Fiverr, obviously, like I said, price is really low. You highlight the fact that you're new, you're willing to work as you want to grow your portfolio. So it's really about trying to get that international experience. Don't ever lie. And the reason why it's pointless lying is that it's so easy for you to get found out because if you haven't worked with international companies or individuals, you don't have the nuances, right? There's things that they say, there's the way that they work. There's just things that way that you get found out pretty quickly. So you cannot lie, but you need to just go out on those freelance platforms to get that experience.
Okay, thank you very much. That really, it clears up some doubts and it makes so much sense. Now, moving on, you have emphasized on creating a LinkedIn presence. Now, what will make an international organization choose me? Yes, I might be online. You have encouraged us to put our work out there to build credibility and all that. Now, let's say BYP wanted to choose from the many LinkedIn users online who are putting out their work. They have proof of service. Let me call it that way. What would be an exceptional candidate? What would be a criteria for an exceptional candidate?
So, firstly, like I said, it'll be their LinkedIn profile, right? I'll be looking at, do they have that bio? What does the bio really say about the work that they do or that they've done, the companies that they've worked with, the kind of person that they are? Then I'm looking at their work experience. Like some people can have work experience, but then they break down what they do or did in their work experience. So that's a good bit. Sometimes the recommendations section can help as well. If you've got people who recommended you, if you've got the kind of skills filled out, like I'm looking for a full profile, a real good profile that lets me understand kind of who you are as a person. And then again, if you're someone that actually engages on LinkedIn, so I want to click and see your most recent post or what you've recently commented on or what you liked. So if you comment on like something that says AI skills are the future of work or something, and then we can see through your LinkedIn profile that you commented something like, yes, AI skills are the best, it's so important for everyone to upskill, just whatever that looks like, right? So it's not a fake profile, it's a full profile with activity. So if you're someone who doesn't really have much of a LinkedIn presence now, you can just get started, right? Start filling out your LinkedIn, start following people, start adding people, and then start building it up that way.
Oh, thank you very much. Now, if I were in church, I would say, preach, Pastor, because it might seem as though you're talking directly to me. Now, I'm
Mhm.
someone who has loved a Facebook presence as compared to a LinkedIn presence. But from everything you've said and my current understanding of how important my LinkedIn profile is, I'll definitely get started and see that the work I do is also being broadcasted on my LinkedIn profile. Thank you very much, Kiki. Please, can we have your questions? We are rounding up. We have about 9 minutes to go. Now, okay, this person is asking if we will get the slides after the presentation. I'm sure we definitely will. We'll get the slides after the presentation. Yes, for better understanding and so you can intensify your studies. Now, Kiki, one last question from my end. Now, do I need to speak and write like an American or have an accent before I'm really like chosen for an international opportunity? Or can they understand, let's say our Cameroonian, because I'm a Cameroonian, can they understand my way of speaking English, or do I need to speak in a certain way so as to better position me for opportunities?
So it's really important to obviously be yourself because you can't fake it. If you now fake an American accent and then one day that your real accent comes out, you'll feel embarrassed. So you have to be yourself. But I guess if you decide to take, and watch some YouTube videos on how to like speak clearly or the differences with English or how to pronounce things or, different ways that different cultures engage, then that's part of the upskilling. Upskill, yes, do what you need to do to upskill. And if that naturally changes the way you speak and the way you interact and engage, then fine. But do not pretend, don't start putting on fake accents and pretending you're somebody that you're not, because it's not nice for yourself. And again, you'll get found out pretty quickly.
That's true. Thank you very much, Kike. Truly, I know something you keep for so long. You cannot keep it for so long, true, because it's not natural. So one day, as they say, 99 days for the thief, one day for the owner. So one day
Mhm.
you get caught. Thank you so much, Kike. Please, can we have your questions? We're rounding up. Can we have your questions? While they're trying to sum up their questions, Kike, please can you give us your handles so we can follow you? This knowledge is so much, and we love to have this knowledge, like constantly drink from this well of knowledge that you have.
Yeah, sure. So it's just at Kike Onawinde. So Agoro is my recent last name because I'm married now, but my handles are still at Kike Onawinde. So the name that you can see on screen. LinkedIn is Kike Onawinde on Agoro, but if you just search Kike Onawinde, you'll find me. So yeah, you can just follow me on LinkedIn, on Instagram. I don't really use Twitter nowadays, and then you can follow BYP Network at BYP Network on pretty much all our platforms.
Okay. All right. We have a question from May Debke. She says, I study hospitality and tourism in the university. Is there a chance for me to secure a job in the future due to the current trends?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Like I said, this is very tech and finance related, but hospitality, there's always hospitality and tourism. Like I know like Dubai was hiring like crazy, right? Like um absolutely, that's a great course to study. And that I think that will definitely allow you to work globally actually, because they're always looking for people in that sector. So yeah, don't worry about that at all.
Okay, Kiki, thank you very much. Now, please, I have this question from a personal experience. Now, we have this aspect of the AI trending, the tech trending, and we have people who want to incorporate their initial skills into tech. I have someone who does communication, that's myself. I'm into communication, and I don't know how to blend tech with my communication skills. I don't know the route to follow. I don't know what to learn and what not to learn because I don't want to be confused and I don't want to be everywhere.
So just to go, communications, that's like that's PR, that's writing comms, right? Internal and external. That's is that maybe if you tell me a bit more about communications.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, if we do not have any questions,
No, I said if you could tell me more about it, if you it's communications because companies are always looking for people who can do PR and comms. I know one of the first jobs we ever had before was PR and comms. and communication is so important, right? So you could definitely do Fiverr, Upwork. You can do one of those freelancer platforms to say you will be their communications person or something like that. You'll help them write their social media posts. You'll help them write anything that anything that they need you to write. You could be the person that is reactive to different things. So you can use Fiverr, Upwork for that. People are always looking for PR and comms, and I think if you can get that PR lens, that will help you as well.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll definitely follow you and be with you until I get this PR and comms thing right. Thank you so much, Kiki. It has been a wonderful one on my end, and I believe our viewers have also been impacted with this knowledge. I'm glad we have this session recorded because it's going to stay on the Tower YouTube page, so other young girls and young boys can access this information and better prepare themselves for opportunities. And I'm happy you have helped us know that we can defy the odds of only traveling to be caregivers. Like we do not forget about the skills we have, and we see that to Japan means you have to just go and be a caregiver, and you realize that you're not living the dream. You're not living your passion. There is no The only impact you have at that time is just the money you have. Now you feel this void.
Not even because, like I said, you don't even have money because the money they give you, you might not. Some people come, they have no shift, so they're not even making any money. They're mistreated, but they can't say anything because they're on the visa of the company. There's so much to it that a lot of people won't tell those back home because they want to pretend that they live in luxury life, but it is very painful. Where you are now, are you cleaning people's bums? Are you you're not doing that where you are now, but you come
No,
here
I'm not.
and do that, right? So how do you now
Yeah.
reduce your ego too? You must reduce your ego, otherwise you can get fired. So there's a lot to it, and honestly, there are other ways to make good money, remote, internationally skilled work, but you just have to trust that.
Thank you very much, Kiki. I
Thank
think
you,
we'll
everyone.
have
Thank
to
you for your time. It
let
was
you go
great.
now.
All right, then. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you very much. See you next time.